Hello, boys. How you doing?
Good, man.
Very
Yourself?
good.
19th of March is a big day, you know. My daughter's birthday. So for
Happy
me to be
birthday, Charlotte.
with you guys, I actually do love you a lot, okay? Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. So let's try and talk a little bit about the bullshit that has redesigned, if not reshaped, the entire way the planet is about to live
Absolutely.
from here on.
Already has reshaped it, hasn't it?
Yeah.
The Prime Minister did his big hour and a bit address yesterday to the nation.
Yeah.
What did you guys take from that?
Very measured.
Yeah.
I think that he's doing a bloody good job at resting people. The only aggro I have is maybe there was a stupid gesture to not to turn up at the South versus Cronulla game.
Mm-hmm.
That was mainly because some idiots who didn't have any ticket for the game were trying to voice their fucking opinions. They shouldn't have been heard.
Mm.
It was really, his gesture was trying to temper it. Yes, I understand all of these things about being around people. We were there. We were in a box. He would have been in a box. I mean, there's a lot of people who were probably, you know, apart from each other. I think he should have been there.
Yeah,
he should have really rested rather than just give in to the few mongrel, few little bastards who are taking this as if it is a doomsday crap.
Yeah.
The problem with the timing of everything was he came out first and said that as of, it was on Thursday, he said as of Monday, we will be stopping crowds going to events.
Yeah.
But I've got every intention of going to the football tonight. So then the morons.
They all jump on it. They all have to.
Well, they started with, if you can go tonight, why can't you go tomorrow? And the only reason you're doing it is so you can go to the football. Just stupid shit.
Yeah.
But there's been more of that than common sense, unfortunately, or any sense of logic to what's going on. So.
Yeah, before we go too far, boys, what are we drinking this week?
All right. Well,
not much.
I don't. Cam,
Shit,
not much.
shit, whatever.
You gonna
What
share
have
that
we
with
got
us,
here?
Well, it's,
you gonna share why not much?
Looks like his last podcast coming up.
My wife texted me today listening to our last podcast, and she said, shit, 2 weeks is a long time, because I was on here saying how good I felt and everything was full steam ahead. I'm in a bit of shit with the doctor, boys. I'm in a bit of trouble. Apparently 30 years of, how old am I? 37, 13, do some maths. 25 years of alcoholism has
Taking a toll.
caught up with me again. I've got a few issues I've got to sort out, so I won't be partaking.
So wine and wisdom has become a bit of water and wisdom.
Water and
today.
wisdom for me.
Mm,
I'm not, for today, yes, and until my head stops hurting, yes, but I'm not quitting
Good.
drinking, but
So what did you bring?
well, for you guys, because I knew you'd be drinking without me. You told me we needed.
No, that's for you, mate. We don't
You
touch that
told me
shit.
we needed to broaden our horizons,
Yep.
so I've gone for
Not
the
that
first.
broad, mate. Not that broad.
I had the honour of walking into Dan Murphy's and asking for the alcohol-free section.
They said that's across the road in Col-
And they
in
said,
Woolworths.
sorry, do we know you? I only became a member of Dan Murphy's last week. You wouldn't fucking believe it. So I've got an Edenvale Sparkling Rose alcohol removed for you guys.
Alcohol removed. All right, okay, let's try it because you never know. I mean, I will have to say it will taste a bit like a cordial. Is it cordial?
Soft drink.
Yeah, no, cordial with tonic water or
Right.
sparkling water, right? But we'll see. This is amazing. Listen,
in a
mate.
fancy bottle.
To make it worse, it's basically pink champagne, guys.
It's a rosé, mate.
Pink champagne,
It's
basically.
a rosé. Don't be
So
so
Cam-
ungrateful, mate.
So Cam's.
There's people have coronavirus, and you're carrying on about some alcohol-free bloody champagne.
You could have bought Coronas, mate. It's just.
It's even gonna.
Pop it.
Come on, mate.
It won't pop it, I will. It's gassed. There we go.
Yeah, all right, okay.
He worked out the photos.
Yeah, he
didn't
worked it
even
out.
Bloody
He changed it back. He didn't say anything to us.
Come on.
Stop. No. Listen, I'm going to be nice just for the gesture, but there's no way, man. Oh, Jesus.
You can at least get me a glass. Come on, it's alcohol-free. I'm
shit.
on.
It smells like a bit like Fanta. No, not Fanta, creaming soda.
Yeah, good.
Here we go.
Oh, did you drink any? Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
Salute, guys.
That's like going to play tennis, but with a ping pong ball.
I've never seen it take so long to get a glass to Thomas's lips.
Oh,
Seriously.
Jesus Christ.
I can't. I'm sorry. Oh, Jesus. I mean, you can have. Is it?
Oh, get in there.
Thank God we got the water.
All right.
You know what that's like? What's that stuff?
No, listen.
Barocca. It's like bloody Barocca.
No. Seriously.
Mate, desperate times.
Just check in. Seriously, come on, man. And take the whole bottle. And listen, you're going to be drinking this? Mate,
No wonder you're sick, mate. If you're drinking that stuff.
I need,
Look at him. He's got another one. Smart ass. He's got one hidden down there.
No, get rid of that glass.
Have we got any new glasses we're going to need?
We've got 2 more up here. We'll get the other 2 up here.
No, that's wrong. Oh, man.
Oh, dear, man. Oh, it's scarlet, man. It's like a bad shot.
Oh, just take the bottle out. Leave it. No, put it out. Put it outside the office, mate. It shouldn't even be in the office and shit. That is disgusting. Mate, you ever pull another stunt like this? And something happened to one of us? I'll never forgive you, man.
Oh, well, you told me I had to bring a bottle for my mates. So.
All right, so what have we got?
We'll never do that again.
What have you got?
Oh, I've got a. I don't think we've done a Pinot Noir on this one before.
Okay. Listen, we don't have to drink the whole lot today, okay?
No, okay.
I think whatever's left.
What did you bring?
That's a
I've got a Cab Sauv too.
216.
So we'll have to do the
I've got
Pinot.
a 2013 Cab Sauv. Jacobs
Okay,
Creek.
all right,
you
all
will
right.
do the Pinot
Pinot
Noir
Noir
first.
first. Okay,
Yeah,
let's try this first.
We haven't done a Pinot Noir.
No,
either.
but hold on. Are you okay?
I'm not
if
drinking.
No, you're not okay. You're on water?
Yes.
All right, that's good. All right, let's try this.
I'm 100% not drinking.
That's good. That is so good.
All right, so
More for us, Chris.
yeah, this is a Lisa McGuigan Pinot Noir from the Adelaide Hills. Not to be mistaken, she is from the McGuigan family, but she's gone separate and done her own thing.
Yep.
Right.
I haven't actually tried this, but I've had a few of her others. Cool bottle,
Yeah.
and they're all delicious. So I'm hoping for you guys, for my mates, it's a 2018 Pinot Noir. We haven't done a Pinot Noir on the show before.
No.
It's all been Shirazes and Cab Sauvs.
Yeah, we're
maybe
trying
Merlot-
we're trying to beat each other. So, and we know Pinot Noir is not going to beat.
No, it's
That's
a
why we're staying away.
light
So,
drink.
so let's have a look.
Well,
Let's have a
I
look.
can't vote, so
Yes, you can vote. You can vote. You can have a sniff. Thanks, man.
give it the sniff test.
It's not bad. Give it out there. Give it out there. I'm sure
Cheers.
that Charlotte for her birthday may want a glass, mate. It's not bad.
For a Pinot, nice and light.
All right, you're a red wine drinker, mate. Is
Yeah.
that all right for you?
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, that's a little bit quite different to the Pinot that I expect from New Zealand, for example, or even Tasmanian ones. It doesn't
Very
have
light.
that finish. Yeah.
Very light. It's almost good to put in the Zangria or something like that.
Well, what about the crazy behavior that people are showing for the moment, with this coronavirus?
It is crazy. It's
Started with all the fight over toilet paper. What is this, man? And then the selfishness of some of those pricks trying to sell toilet paper on eBay. I can't even believe seeing this. I reckon for the moment we're seeing the best and the worst of mankind.
yeah.
We've 100% seen the worst. When's the best going to come out?
No, I think that we're seeing the best already. We're seeing people who are really trying to show some common sense. People who are actually going around delivering stuff to help the elderly. I mean, there's some good stuff. But you know what? This is a
But
funny
it took
thing.
a
They
while
don't
to-
show that. They don't show that. But you get onto the current affair, they showing the bloody hoarders, by the way, Vietnamese, who are collecting more toilet paper, more sanitizer than anyone. But they doing a 7 to 10 minutes section just on that. You know, but the person who's going out there and doing, do you know why? Because man is driven by what's bad.
Bad
that
news
that
sells.
gets excited. Yeah.
Bad news sells. It's simple. Bad headlines makes other people's lives feel better when they see other people in shit worse than theirs.
Now we have to really also understand that there's two types of behavior that we're seeing for the moment. The people who are panicking, and they do silly things. To me, they're getting ready for doomsday. You know. Then you also have people who don't give a shit. Maybe because they're young, because they don't think it's going to get to them, because they learn in the news it's not going to get to them, and that they're not the main target, so they just go out there and do silly things. I think that between the two, maybe they ought to have someone with more leadership.
There's a broad spectrum, and it ranges from absolute ignorance about the entire situation to absolute insanity about the entire
Going on to
situation,
deep
and
end.
trying to work out where to sit in the middle in that is based on all the information that's floating around is bloody hard work. And where I am on that spectrum changes from day to day. But, mate, there's good and there's bad in all of this. The good thing is we've seen the worst of human behaviour and we've seen what is actually going to happen when we have a real problem.
Yeah.
When the aliens come, mate, we've seen exactly what's going to happen. We're all going to turn on each other and stab each other over toilet paper. But the good news in all that is we've seen that, so we know what to look out for and lock your bloody doors whenever we're in real trouble. Because we just spent a summer pretending like we were all one and we were all unified, but the same gooses who donated to a charity that can't hand out money are the same gooses stabbing each other over toilet paper now. Nothing that's happened in the last few weeks has increased my faith in humanity, put it that way.
I think the veneer of society is very thin, personally. The
veneer of society?
Yeah,
who are you?
You like that one?
Who
like that?
are
I looked that up on the way here. You like that? A man of many talents, mate. So put people under pressure, put people under stress, and they're going to start doing stupid things like they're doing. You've got these people going the deep end, like hoarding things. They're now creating an issue for people who want to continue with their life as normal. When they go to the supermarket, they can't buy their normal groceries.
It's not even as normal, mate. It's people who are trying to be sensible. We had to lend out a bunch of toilet paper yesterday because everyday people are just struggling, you know. We rang around all our elderly vendors today and clients to make sure that they were doing okay. But it's absolutely... Crystal found one of the guys from our local grocery store out the back packing boxes the other day and he looked pretty distraught and he said, I've lost count today of how many times I've been abused because shit's not on the shelves. Like, what?
It's not their fault, guys. Leave them alone.
I promised someone
seriously.
I'd try and stop swearing, but what the fuck are we doing with our lives? What are we doing with our lives? And it's when the fear overcomes any sense of logic, we're in a massive bit of trouble here. We've got supposedly the best medicine people in the world and our government saying, yes, there's a problem. This is what we're doing about it. At the moment, keep your businesses open. At the moment, kids go to school. At the moment, do all this. And despite all that, we've got people refusing to open their front door because they're scared of what's going on. Businesses shutting down, cutting their nose off to spite their face. Sports stopping even though they've been given no directive to. You know, people jumping the gun in panic. And I think, you know, we'll probably get onto it in a little bit, but the effect that's going to have on the economy, you think bloody coronavirus is bad. Wait till we've got 1 million people unemployed and unable to support themselves, pay for their houses, pay for their kids' medical bills. You know, wait till that shit happens if you reckon right now is bad. And that's where people are missing the point. Someone said 5 minutes before I walked in here, why don't we just shut down for 2 weeks and that'll fix everything? You know what it'll fix? Coronavirus. Everything else is going to be absolutely fucked. Like, not even a little bit. Anyone who's seen Snatch will know the term proper fucked. Like, and my head hurts. Like,
but you're saying that, so they're closing down sporting events and so forth, but that's really the directive from the government.
No, it's not, mate.
Well, they're banning gatherings.
No, the people that have stopped playing I'm talking about. The crowds, yes, but there's sports that have just stopped playing and costing themselves millions and millions of dollars.
Okay. Instead of playing behind closed doors, is that what you mean?
Instead of playing behind closed doors.
Right.
The NRL, the NRL has a lot of issues, right? But they've said if we shut now, it's going to cost us millions of dollars and our sport may collapse and everything that goes on with our sport, and that's a lot of jobs and a lot of people's livelihoods, goes down the toilet. At the moment, we've been told it's safe to continue, so we'll continue until the very minute we're told it's not safe, and then we'll cut it. But
right.
Whereas people have cut it potentially 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month early, cost themselves millions of dollars and hundreds of jobs for no reason. And and that's flowing on into society. And part of it's a bit of virtue signalling. Part of it's the same as, I donated and people, you know, posting every time they donate blood or donate to a charity. It's virtue signalling. Look at me, I've done something good in the world. Yeah. So now because one person's jumped the shark and panicked, other people feel like they have to jump the shark and panic. Otherwise, they're going to be looked down upon. And what we're actually doing is killing the fucking country.
Yeah.
How are we going to pay for people's jobs, mate? How are people going to be able to afford their houses?
Mate, I haven't got the answer. You see how we're proceeding as a society at the moment, and you are right. People are jumping the gun and making rash decisions, but there's a lot of those that are being forced upon us as well. A lot of people are also scared scared to get it. I think there's a lot of misinformation out there and not exactly knowing
The people are listening to Facebook.
Yeah, but hold
and
on,
not the
boys.
Prime
Australia
Minister.
is relying on the three of us to have the answer, so you can't say
I got
we
the
have.
answer.
You don't have the answer, right?
I've
so
got
we
the
do.
answer.
We do have
Seeing
the
as though
answer.
people are listening to Facebook and not the
Sav,
Prime Minister.
2013, Winskinawara, that'll cure it.
Yeah.
That'll cure any hangover.
Mate, it's not even as funny as it sounds. People are listening to Facebook instead of the Prime Minister. So as long as we're on social media, people are going to believe us before
No, it's
they
not
believe-
just it's not just Facebook, all right?
No,
I
but
think
the
that
media as
these
well.
guys reporting the news are as bad. Okay, I think that there's it's pretty bad job being done for the moment. Not by everyone, but mate, you get onto every channel for the moment. It's always about how bad it is. So I'm very sorry, but knowing the anxiety level in people, the more they listen to all that crap, what do you think they're gonna feel? I mean, I still remember within 10 minutes, my wife and I, when we first started learning about all this thing and the enormity of maybe potential lockdown and all that stuff, man, we start panicking too. And it took us maybe a little while to realize, hold on, it's the television, switch it off. Right? Or start listening to real stuff. The same news are going to be there this afternoon. You only have to have it in 5 minutes, not over 5 hours. I think that there's pretty bad thing. I think that also you look at things, the choice of words could be better. You read stuff and all you read is coronavirus survivor or the deadly virus. I mean, everything is used this way. Even, I think yesterday, I hated that moment. I was having breakfast and suddenly Karl Stefanovic on Channel 9, he's telling a representative of the World Health Organization that they were full of shit for making recommendation that turned out to be wrong. Hold on. Guys like him just makes people like us even more angry and more anxious. These people here, they trying to do their job. They're going into the unknown. They're coming up with certain things, trying to find out what it is, but there's so many parameters. How do you explain that there's people in North Korea that are infected, but they are not dying as fast as or in the numbers that it's happening right now in Italy? There's a lot of parameters. So opening your mouth and saying shit like Karl did, I think it was another thing for hunting for fame, for ratings. And I think it's wrong. When you have a job like this, when you're holding that microphone, you're going to have to say to yourself, I have a responsibility. And the responsibility is my fucking talk going to do this a better job? Is this going to bring the audience to a better place than after? Yeah. And I don't think he did that. So we're going to have to really look very carefully about how maybe the news should embrace a different role. Maybe they should look at their own values and maybe some of these things that we've been talking about over the last few podcasts, culture, beliefs, and their own set of values,
Look, the thing that worries me is there's part of the population that wants to be right and be able to come out at the end of this and say, I told you so, with 4 million people dead and we were right to steal our toilet paper and we were right to do all this. That's scary that you want to be right.
Yeah.
Right? That's scary that there's people out there hoping they can say, I told you so on that end of it. I'm on the other side going, geez, I hope everyone's wrong.
Yeah.
Right? And that might be seen as flippant or trying to ignore what's going on. I'm not ignoring what's going on. I just hope everyone's fucking wrong, because if they're not wrong, big problem. Right? And when it comes out, if we're right, if the government's right and says, yes, we've got an issue, but it's not the end of the world, and it turns out it's not the end of the world, a lot of people are going to be found out in a way that hasn't happened in my lifetime, including the media. That's where I was getting to with that long point. Once they G everyone up and scare themselves to death and make people lock themselves in their house for no fucking reason, they're going to get found out and they're going to have to change their ways, because no one... it's going
Do the media change their ways?
They will have to. Yeah,
the
mate,
media
they'll
will
have
just
to.
point the finger at someone and say, well, you should have known. Why didn't you tell us that
No, I
differently?
think I've got New World written down here. The world's already changed. Because of this, one way, for good or for bad, the world has changed. And if it turns out that people were having panic attacks and staying home from work and risking employment and losing their jobs and losing their house for not the end of the world, there's going to be hell to pay, mate. And it's I think people will rise up. Probably the same people that are hoarding toilet paper. It's. Do
you think they'll hold the media accountable though?
Mate, in every zombie movie, the media gets overrun, and.
But how would you hold the media
I
accountable
know.
when the media is a fucking one holding the microphone and the camera. Mate,
and editing the what you're seeing.
Well, I think they just push people into podcasts and conspiracy theorists and all that sort of stuff. That's why, not us so much. We've only got 2 followers, but that's why.
no, but
people
we offer a solution. Like, have you been thinking about the solution for the toilet paper, for example? Because I have.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Oh, I said that last podcast. Shit to shower, mate. That's the solution.
No, listen. Did you know this about the toilet paper? That there are guys out there who actually work in some of these shops who are holding and taking away the toilet paper before putting just a few on the shelf. So that they can, and this is true story. And a woman who worked around the guy asked him, "What are you doing? What are you doing there?" "Oh, I'm going to sell it back on eBay later on and make more money." So there are guys that are in the direct line of providing you this service that are holding back so that they can actually make a buck.
What about someone coming up and out and explaining to people that if we do go into lockdown, the shops stay open?
Yeah, and that's what I was
No
going to
one's
say.
been fucking told.
Or that the toilet paper is made in Adelaide.
Yeah.
Right.
Therefore, we
Oh,
won't
yeah.
have a problem with Chinese papers.
Two of the biggest
People are hoarding milk. It goes off in 3 days, you morons.
No, long life milk is what
but
they're...
even I've seen people carrying...
Oh, that's just
Oh!
stupid. But long. I was at the shops this morning, and the
Steaks.
shelves are like they're emptied last night. They're empty this morning.
Our butcher's
It's
had to
crazy.
put his price up because they can't get meat from anywhere.
I bought premium mince this morning for $20 a kilo, and it's usually $13 a kilo. And
The
prices-
shops stay
prices of everything have
open.
gone up. Yeah, but through a
You
lockdown,
can get food.
Through a lockdown, all the shops stay open. You're not allowed to do unnecessary travel and so forth. A lot of people don't realise that. I didn't realise that until the other night.
My sister-in-law, God love her, she's on my list. She just rang Crystal and said, you can't have the kids during the holidays because what if you run out of food and can't feed them? And what if we transmit the disease, but can you all come down to our house for Easter? But the kids are still going to school. We went to the footy last weekend. And I love you, Tanil, but man, what are we doing? In case we run out of food and can't starve the kids to death.
Hey, listen, I thought of a solution for the toilet paper. It's up to the Prime Minister now to really have a look and see whether he can make use of it. But why don't we just, a normal pack of toilet paper, I think pack of 24 is $12, right? Why don't we put the price up to $500? $512 per pack, okay? That's if you buy. But every one of us, instead of giving people money to spend on shit, every one of us will be entitled to a pack, a ration weekly pack. Every week, we can just go and through our either the census data that they have, they know exactly where we live and how many people we have in the house, or our driver's license, or even our passport, someone even responsible maybe for the street, you know? Why don't we do this? And then so you go and you collect it. I don't have to have my 750? Is it 750 allowance now? But put it in the toilet paper. And then every idiot that are going in there to buy when it's on the shelves, right? Charge them $500 something. Pay $12 for the paper. Keep the $500 as a government tax to do something good with it, right? And I was thinking, secondly, all those idiots that are either on eBay or trying to sell it on Gumtree and trying to make a buck, catch them, tax them. That will stop all that stuff. And I don't know. I thought that was a good solution.
Oh, we'll all be dead by then from coronavirus, so, mate.
I don't think so.
Jesus Christ.
Look, supermarkets, though, are imposing very strict rules. Today's my day off, so I usually have a Thursday morning. After I've dropped the kids, I might go and do a bit of grocery shopping and then off to see my father. My father's nursing home is closed down. We can't visit my dad.
Yeah, I thought so.
He's in a Catholic nursing home, so they've put a directive through that only palliative care patients can have family visits. The supermarket, I grabbed 4 or 5 cans of lentils and beans and chickpeas and stuff because we put them in our salads. I got to the checkout. You can only have 2 cans. I could only buy 2 cans of canned fruit, canned vegetables. Only 2 packets of pasta, 1 bag of 2 kilo rice or a grater, same with the flour. Toilet paper, there was 2 policemen standing there while they're handing out the toilet paper. It's crazy. And this is in the local supermarket.
I don't know.
1 pack per person.
I'm lost for... I've got lots of words, but none of them provide a solution. I just think you're all morons. I can't mate. We've proved every doomsday prepper right, all the guys that have got the bunkers in their backyards with loaded up with ammunition and that's, you want to talk about scary. We're fighting over toilet paper. America's buying all the guns. The guns are off the shelves. Jesus Christ, what's coming next, mate? And then conspiracy theory, China's already cured. They started the disease, already cured, and the rest of the world's gone to shit. So we better be learning Cantonese soon because the Chinese
are they cured though?
Well, they've shut all their hospitals. They had one new case yesterday. They're just about done with it. And we're just getting started. So
yeah, well, don't you believe again everything that you hear?
I'm not believing it. I'm just throwing it out there, mate.
Chinese
we're going to run out of toilet paper.
I just don't know how much has been censored. Now some of the silly things that really happen, even Woolies with their half-baked solutions. Seriously, a few days ago I put out a video to our guys, all of our sales guys. Look after an elderly. Go and call a few elderly and maybe go and help them. I think some of these things. No, instead, Woolies and Coles decided they were going to do one of those early hours for the elderly, right?
7 to 8, yeah.
So a friend of mine, he's a pensioner, he queued up. Mate, here we are feeling sorry that the elderly is probably going to be the biggest target of this virus. But then we line them up, almost one behind each other. 20 to 30 centimeters apart from each other, right? They're queuing up, waiting for that time to open. Are we silly? And then, this is even worse. They walk in and the essentials not even there. Yeah. And you know what they say? Oh, I'm sorry, we didn't have the time to put them on shelf. Then why the fuck do you advertise and try to have a little bit of fame, right? Publicity for yourself, telling shit like this. You don't say shit like this, have the elderly go through the trenches and they find nothing. And it's not in one place. Afterwards, I heard that it happened in many other places. Why? Because apparently they didn't have enough truck drivers. Then fucking shut up. Now, this is even worse. I went last week because I needed some toilet paper for the office and home. So after I dropped my daughters at their bus at 6:30, I went and queue up at the Woolies in Juro. And as we were queuing up, we were laughing, taking photos of notices saying now 4 per person and 4 pack of toilet paper per person. And I thought, man, when was the last time we saw something like this? And here's the thing. This Asian girl in Woolies Juro, she saw everyone queuing up behind one of those automatic doors. You wouldn't believe it. Just for fun, the bitch opened the other door. Man, what kind of a fucking sick mind that fucking Asian girl in Woolies in Juro could find in a time where everyone who shouldn't even be there is worried about whether I'll make it on time to the shelves and whether I'll have another pack because I'm 10 meters behind the queue. And then you do shit like this? Ah, man.
He's got me covered, the big fella. Yes!
No, this shit really worries me. Do you know, instead of that,
scary,
what about Woolies?
Scary.
Woolies is making money, right? Coles making money in this day and age. Maybe the plane industry, the all of these industry like hospitality, restaurant, we being hit, right?
Big time.
But then Woolies is making good money. Do you believe this? That to fucking push your chariot, there is no hand sanitizer. There's no gloves. You can go and pick any item that could be picked up by somebody else who's been ill. There's no gloves, right? What about organizing maybe community trucks to deliver to the elderly?
Yeah.
What about, my parents in Belgium, we are asking them to isolate.
Yeah.
Right? My uncle's best friend lost his father last week. Mm-hmm. His father was being isolated in Belgium. He became the 4th death in Belgium.
Yeah.
And do you know what he did? He walked out of his house, walked down a few houses to his daughter to pick up some groceries. That's all he did. Now, obviously, he entered the house. Within 2 days, he was in hospital. The next day, he died. I mean, these are silly stuff. We know that about the elderly. So what about doing them a service?
Yep.
No, we want them to queue, man. We want them to queue.
Let's get them all in one place.
And race when we open the freaking wrong door so they can race and find out whether they have their location. Are you serious? Nah, I'm sorry. There are things that really need to be fixed. And right now, we need someone with balls and real leadership who's going to say, these are some of the rules, all right? And then who's going to really get someone, maybe from the ACCC or whatever it is, go through all of those bastards trying to sell toilet paper and making a back and freaking find a way to take them, shame them.
Yep.
Anyway, I'm overreacting because I fucking queued.
The shops will still be open if we get locked down.
And
Can we repeat that?
I think, again, I said it before, the lack of communication we're getting from the government. I think the most we ever heard was yesterday from Scott Morrison when he addressed everyone. That's the most we've heard about it. And I think...
Yeah, but there's no point talking to idiots, mate. We are surrounded by stupid at the moment. It is...
But at least if they can get that information through the sensible ones, at least they're not going to start panicking about not being able to get toilet paper or not being able to go to the shops if we go in lockdown. Because I didn't know we could go to the shops.
The sensible ones won't panic. The sensible ones and the leaders of the world do what? You pulled that line out today. I was going to steal it off you today, but you pulled it. They see things as they are, not worse than they are, and then they try and make it better than it is. We haven't rushed off to shit to shower, mate. Shit to shower is the answer.
No, you can't say that, man. Come on, man.
Majority of people didn't know that it wasn't a lockdown. Didn't mean you couldn't leave your home. But the majority of people didn't that. I think that once the masses have more information, I think it'll calm a lot of things down. I think
the majority of people don't know that you get over it in 3 days, and the majority of people don't know that they've already found 2 drugs that stop it that are used for AIDS and malaria.
Malaria.
And even if they did know, that news has been put out there, but that hasn't gone viral because, whoever attended this wedding has just infected 75 people. Right. That's more fun.
Yeah.
And the stupid thing is when the fun and the ratings puts the world at risk and mate, as I said before, you think the virus is bad, wait till everyone loses their job, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if I could say, the Prime Minister also ought to have a bit of help around him, you know. Yesterday while his address was quite nice when he said, Woolies delivery, elderly hour is common sense. It's not really fucking common sense. Go and see them. When he said, for example, that
it's a good soundbite though, mate.
People should not be selfish, that he demands that people remain calm and show some demeanor in the way they behave. People will not. Come on, you have to study a little bit of psychology and know that when you have on one side a freaking bunch of idiots telling you this is doomsday and have a look, these guys have been hoarding, and have a look at the fight here for toilet paper, that at some stage people are going to say, I don't want to be one. But darling, we're running out of toilet paper in 3 days. Mate, something in you takes over. I'm very sorry. There are things that you're gonna have to do to counter the worst in human behavior. This is why we have the police. This is why. Listen, if people could drive fast, they will all drive fast. That's why we have the police, to stop people from speeding. If people could drive while they're drunk, people would do it. But so that's why we have some of those rules. Yeah. Well, you have to have rules in this time of madness, because you have the elderly she came in first, right? That was before the hour was up. She came in first. She's trying to get to the aisle as fast as she can. But then that younger dude's run faster.
She needs to train harder, mate.
Yeah, man. Seriously, man. I don't love this stuff. This is when
it's fucked.
My temper.
But
goes up.
has that ship sailed though? Can we rein it back in, or is there too much panic now?
No, we can rein it back in, but I think just as much as they're asking solidarity from people and people being reasonable, I think that we also have to ask maybe these people who've got the microphone, the camera, and the people who can really make decision to also show that first. That's why we talk about leadership for so long. People have to show leadership from the top. You can't just ask the common mortal to show leadership when they're being bombarded with crap. It doesn't work, mate. You know, like the first stimulus package, I don't think it was well thought of. You're giving people money so that they can spend. Why? So that we keep the economy going. Are you bullshitting me? That's just 5 minutes of joy. You know, people, they're already looking ahead. They're thinking, about rent relief. They're thinking about, how am I going to pay my mortgage? The restaurant where I work, they're not going to have me anymore because I'm casual. So how am I going to pay my next week? And then suddenly you have idiots on TV saying, oh, well, but the money we give you is not for you to pay your rent or pay your mortgage. It's for you to spend. Are you a fucking idiot?
When you know everyone, the only shares going up at the moment are Woolies and Coles. There's 750 gone in toilet paper. Idiots. But if Thomas is right and we charge them $512 a packet, they'll only get one.
I think the stimulus package was a knee-jerk reaction to what was happening and trying to...
Oh, they had to do something. As if you'd want to be... Who would put their hand up to be the bloody leader of the country and something? Jesus Christ.
Not sure in this bloody crisis, that's for sure.
Mate, in any... The bushfires, how'd he go then?
Because he went anyway.
But yeah, it's... It did seem, in hindsight, or not even in hindsight, when it first came out, I was expecting stimulus package to actually be a stimulus package instead of a handout, which doesn't make a lot of sense because how are people going to spend $750 if they're locked down like they all think is going to happen? And
different parts of the world have got some big things in place, like Italy's frozen mortgages. And they've told the bank freeze mortgages until further notice, just freeze the mortgages. America's dipping in huge to try and stimulate their economy. Everyone around the world's trying to kickstart it and keeping the economy going. But I don't know if it's... I think there's too many unknown quantities. Again, this is uncharted waters.
Yeah, but mate, they're going to have to also have a look. What do you think... all of these crap that we're doing right now, what do you think that is for? What is the effort, you reckon? Why are they looking at schools still being open? Why are they having the travel bans? Why are they doing lockdown in some country? Why do they do self-isolation for overseas travelers?
Trying to slow
Yes, that's correct. Yes. So the purpose is to slow it down, right? They know they can't stop it. Okay, so they're trying to slow it down. Yeah. Now, the process, how slow do you reckon they're looking?
6 months.
Yeah? You think so? I reckon it is 12 months because there's no vaccine ready for the next 12 months.
Well, it depends what you can believe, because if you believe what's coming out of China, they've been done in 6 months.
Yeah, well, mate, over here we have so many fucking red tapes. You will see how long it will get for everyone to be ready, all right? And it will take that kind of stuff. Did you know, for example, we're not going to talk about vaccine, and I won't say too much, but the core chemicals that is required to make those vaccine, 90% of it is made in China. So we are even fucking relying on the Chinese to send us the core chemicals to make the vaccine. So what are we
can't get into a conspiracy theory. We're not allowed. We're not allowed. Can we entertain for 2 seconds?
I'm not going to go. Not going to go into China 2025. I'm not going there.
Let's go down the rabbit hole. Come on.
So no, we know that they're trying to tame it.
They invent the disease. They're the only ones with the cure for it, and they've just shut all their hospitals while the rest of the world goes to shit. Come on, man. Let's go down there just for a second. I'm sure we'll come back out the other side. Oh,
listen, my sister, she's a nurse in Belgium. Some of the staff where she works has been affected and being quarantined. A surgeon actually who works in her own hospital fell into a coma. He actually felt a little bit unwell during an operation and had to test, and they found out what they had, the corona. He's now lying in there, intensive care with a respiratory machine, keeping him alive. And the rest of the staff who was in the operation theater has been quarantined. So the way I look at it is this: if shit hits the fan with our healthcare staff, we fucked.
Yep.
Right?
Absolutely.
I mean, maybe not us, but our elderly, our young children.
The mortality rate above 80 is like, if you get it above 80, you're basically done.
Oh, that's a bit morbid, mate.
No, it's the truth. It's the truth. If you're 80 and above and you get the virus, I think it's an 80% mortality rate, something along those lines. As soon as it goes underneath that, it drops considerably. When you're in your early teens and 20s, 30s, 40s, it's like 0.2%.
So let's look at the economy now, boys, because we have the answer. So they actually rely on the three of us in Little Bochum Hills to come up with the answers. You might as well just come up with something.
I think they're in trouble. We're in trouble then. So
we're in a lot of trouble.
If we're going to come up with the answer, they're in trouble.
I think part of it, a massive part of it goes back to what we mentioned earlier. Just look at what's actually going on, not what you've imagined going on, because the longer we can keep businesses open and things ticking over, the more, whether it's 6 months or 12 months, the more of that we can chew off without shutting the whole bloody country down. That gives us something to hang on to. I don't know where real estate's going. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not old enough. I haven't seen enough major world bloody crisis to know. But unfortunately, I guess logic would suggest that if people are losing their jobs, they're going to lose their houses as well, and someone's got to sell them. So that's shit house. We just went through a market like that where the only people selling were death, divorce, or finance. I think that's one thing we've got to be careful of. We've got to keep spreading the love, guys. We've had 5 calls in the last 2 weeks to go out to listing appointments for divorces.
Right.
People start losing their jobs or get under pressure financially with their mortgages. Arguments start with the husband or wife or each other. I think we've got to be real mindful that everyone's going through a whole heap of stress at the moment, whether it's justified or not, and keep spreading the love and checking in on people. I know that doesn't answer your economy question, but it just made me think about
it's all right. We can talk.
Check on your neighbours, check on your mates, mate. Like, if a lot of the population loses their employment and their houses, a lot of men are going to kill themselves. That's a fact of nature. It's the way the world already is. Way more men commit suicide than anybody else. The farmers going through the drought have just still going through that now.
Huge suicide rate.
There's so many knock-on effects from this thing going as pear-shaped as people are saying, that why can't we for a second just hope that it's not going to be that bad?
Yep.
Still take precautions. I mean, TL, we just tried to lick his ear, but he won't even come anywhere near us. Be sensible. Take the precautions we're told to take, but you cannot shut down the world on a whim or some fantasy that's saying, or Carl Stevanovic says.
Don't even mention his name anymore, man. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Speaking about businesses and moving forward and keeping the economy running,
love.
What would you say to a business that is directly affected? So let's say we're talking to a restaurant.
I've got a mate who owns a restaurant in Gosford, and he put a post out yesterday. They've halved. They haven't shut the restaurant down. They had 70 seats. They've taken 30 of them out so people can sit further apart from each other. He's made his whole menu available for takeaway. Yep. I don't own a restaurant, but there are other options.
Yep.
Yeah, so there are people who will be looking for options. But what about a business where people don't have any other options? The travel agent.
So that's very unfortunate. I mean, I don't know how their industry works when they get paid their commissions.
They only get paid when you go on the trip, mate.
When you get on the plane, man.
So they'll book. I just sold a house for a travel agent. People book 2 years in advance, and you don't get paid. It's like a 2-year settlement.
Yeah, right. Okay. Well, my travel agent's going to hate me.
No. Travel World just shut 100. Travel World.
No. Flight Centres.
Flight Centres. Sorry, mate.
Flight Centres.
Just shut 100 bloody offices.
Well, the government said level 4 travel restrictions, right? Do not leave the country. Yeah. He's basically said do not. It's the first time in Australian history. Here's bottle number 2. What is it,
Let's
Thomas?
try this one here. Leogate. That is Hunter Valley again. It's called the Great Crashes, Cabernet Sauvignon 2016. If you have the time, visit them. It's a lovely couple. I mean, the gentleman, he actually was very successful cattle breeder. And his wife couldn't believe it. Yeah, they have a beautiful
gates on Break Road. Oh, yeah.
They
across the road from the jewelers.
His wife thought, I can do better. I'm going to open this, and it's been hard work, but these people are doing a bloody good job. And their wine actually won an award, and this is the one. Salute.
Look at that colour.
Oh, mate, you can't, man. Stick to your whatever Edenvale, whatever.
Just smelling it. Cheers.
Oh,
yeah.
There's some pecorino with that also.
Cheese.
Yeah, hit the blue cheese. The cheese is enough.
It's good. Yeah, so I don't know, mate. I don't know what those people do. I don't know.
I mean, even moving forward within our office, I've spoken to my leader and we've spoken about what are we going to do moving forward if we do start to see a little bit of downturn, because we've got a good team running. You don't want to lose these team members. So do we go on to maybe a roster system where we take a couple of days off each, start using leave up and so forth, so we can still keep the wheels turning, still keep the economy turning, or do we just power through and push through it? I mean, it's a hard call. Uncharted waters.
Let's talk about real estate a bit later on, but let's have a look first at the impact of a business. I run a business. I have children. Now, my business has gone to shit. I run a restaurant that is now going to under half. And if it goes under half, actually, it means there's no money for me. I'm just paying to survive. Now, I'm running a gym. Gym membership's going to go down. I mean, who wants to sweat with their buddy next to another guy? You never know.
The government shutting them. Sydney, they just shut all the gyms.
So you're gone. So what happened now? Well, then I'm going to let go of my casuals, right? I'm going to start letting go of staff because when I let go of a staff, that is going to be a bit of profit back to me, or at least cutting my losses, correct? That staff now has gone home, can't pay for his children or her children's livelihood. I'm affected too. We all going to buy less. We all going to do way less. So it's a trickle effect. So suddenly now everyone starts to be impacted slowly. And so another guy could be making decisions such as taking the children off the private school because they can't afford that anymore. So the children's life is also affected. But I know one thing for sure. In 6 months, if I like to be a positive as Cam, or in 12 months, it's fixed because we have the vaccine, right? It means life will go back to just normal. So what we now have to do is, how do we help people over the next 12 months? Because when you have a disease like this crisis, it's not just about health. I appreciate we talk about health because in the end, that's what we have the most. But the economic side of it create anxiety, fears, frustration. And that is another side of health, which is what we call mental health. And that is also something we should not forget.
Yeah.
So I think that what we need to be looking at now, or the government, is how do we help these people feel as if life is normal, but that they might have to pay it back, but we're going to try to make it as normal as possible. I mean, I heard Alan Jones on the radio talking about the HEC scheme, where they will give you not handouts, they will give you loans. And you just have to pay them back when you're doing better. I mean, he actually came up with this before with the farmers. Nobody paid attention, but really, why not? All right, what about if you don't have a legit business? Then fuck you. If you were not going to pay, if you didn't pay your taxes, if you're a tax evader, then you shouldn't get it now. This is an opportunity for the tax department to even clean up all these bastards who are not paying their dues.
Yeah.
And it's an amazing thing how people always want the government to help them, but then, mate, whenever they work in, they do all they can not to fucking pay tax. What is this shit?
Yeah.
Right? So what about that one? Maybe that gives then the person who lost his business today because nobody else is booking for travels, still some kind of normalcy in his life. He can still hold on to his staff. Maybe that money should not be free money or a loan that you give into the empty, because he over the next 6 to 12 months he's still not going to book anyone for traveling. But he can at least turn his business into doing something else. For example, mate, you can go to Woolies or Coles or any pharmacy. You can't even freaking find hand sanitizers. But you know what? I smiled today when I read in the paper that a brewery just stopped making beer and now is focusing on hand sanitizer. How good is that? So why shouldn't we give a loan to companies like that so that they transform themselves and help the economy while we're going through this patch?
The government can't pretend that it's too expensive to do that because they print money whenever they need it. They get on InDesign and draw up $100 bill and just hit print whenever. They're talking about doing the quantitative easing thing, whatever. I don't fully understand it, but what I get the gist of, it's just inventing money that wasn't there to begin with. So they can't say that.
That's not a great economic solution, quantitative easing, long term anyway.
Mate.
America really shot themselves in the foot once upon a time doing it. But you're right, there's a lot of businesses transforming their businesses, helping. I think it was Chanel in France has done the same thing. They cut their perfume factory and they're creating hand sanitizer. But that's a great idea, lending businesses the money to transform into something that the community needs now.
We can't forget that out of the greatest disasters come the best inventions too. Like, that's part of the new world we're going to live in. There's a lot of things that are going to come out of this that will be the new norm and the new technology and we'll probably tie it into when we talk about real estate a bit later. But I think some old school thinking is going to go out the window during this whole thing.
So do you think, when you're saying the world has changed, do you think that this social distancing may become a new norm?
I think because we're humans, we're affectionate people, and we'll go back to doing what we're doing. I think we've actually seen whatever humanity's really like, for good and for bad. So there'll be I think there might be a bit less trust in the world early on. Right. There will be new technologies developed, and you'll probably see a rise in doomsday preppers for the next time that something happens. Yeah, right. Businesses are going to have to transform and rethink the way they do things, and even in the sense of the new policies and procedures we've had to have in the office now because of this stuff that never would have invented. We're just in a different space than we were a month ago, and that's only going to continue to evolve. The rise of, because of this distancing, I think technology is probably going to advance. I think technology is going to be the main winner. Even myself now, instead of walking into an office, like I walk into an office for training on Monday, telling everyone to get Zoom.
These guys, mate, they couldn't take me seriously. They had to touch me. They had to do all the silly stuff that young dudes would do. And so now I'm doing video conferencing. I'm doing all those webinar style meetings, And so life is going to change. The way business is going to be done, I think, is going to change. There's going to be a lot of, I think one thing's going to happen is probably even the way we sign certain stuff is going to be online, and then we send it to each other. So there's going to be a lot on technology.
Do you use some of that now, Cam? I mean, do you use DocuSign? I know some of our offices use DocuSign.
No, I haven't. I saw something about it today. I've got to get my head around what documents we can use it for and what we can't, because some still have to be a wet copy. I'm pretty sure in what we do.
So with real estate and the legalities behind that, I know yesterday I had to set a reserve price for an auction I've got on Saturday, and the customer is old, an older lady. She's 70-odd, and I had to drive down to
elderly, mate. Elderly. We don't call them old.
Sorry. Yes. Okay. Potato, tomato. So I had to drive down to near Wollongong, and I was concerned. I was like, well, should I be going to see her? But I need to sit with her to set the reserve price. I think real estate itself needs to evolve that way.
Everything's going to change there, mate.
Okay, so let's have a look at some of the change then in real estate. What you?
Well, I think some of the technologies that have been on the fringe for a little while now, that a lot of the old school have been pretty slow to adopt, are going to become mainstream, like virtual tours, electronic signing, artificial intelligence for doing certain things. There's been people bringing in disruptive technology for that kind of thing for a little while now, and I think because there's still a lot of the old, when I say the old school in real estate, probably 10 years or more or 15 years or more in the game, running a lot of the franchises and the offices, it hasn't been adopted as quickly or as efficiently as it could have. Well, now it has to be, otherwise you're gone. If you can't physically show a house and you haven't embraced the digital world and video technology and the virtual stuff, you're gone. If your business is slow and you can't afford your team and you haven't embraced artificial intelligence or other means of your prospecting, you're in trouble. All that stuff people have been saying the way of the future, and in 10 years there won't be an office, for example. Like, that may be sped up by a decade because of this sort of stuff.
I still don't know about the home inspections though. I, for one, maybe I'm the only one, but I, for one, for example, would never buy a place unless I have put my own self on a block of land, because I truly feel the energy. I feel either good or not good on certain properties. And sorry, man, there is no freaking digital shit that's going to do that for me unless they can really give me the energy and in a little box. So I don't know whether the home inspection, yes, probably there's going to be a bit of gimmick. So there's going to be a lot of guys going out there with a lot of gimmicks trying to get salespeople or real estate agencies to believe that that's the end all. But I don't know whether it will affect the group or the home inspections.
Yeah, it just depends on where this thing heads as far as, but even we'll take your example of 12 months, even surviving the next 12 months. If you can't, how do you show a house? So I think someone mentioned in that meeting we had the other week that Google will do glasses now that you can load a floor plan up into and put the glasses on and actually walk through. There's all that stuff.
Yeah, it's all there.
I understand with the giving. I understand that nothing will replace human contact and that thing, except when you can't have human contact or that thing. So
I think one of the first things probably that's going to change real estate is there won't be any more caravan or group inspections of houses. I think that's going to be gone. And quite often a lot of these things that are coming in are going to stay, you know. Home sellers are going to be quite reluctant to see people allowing, what is it? I was talking to Sam. He had something like 35 set of people to walk through a house on Saturday. Man, that's a lot of people, right? If you're a tenant, for example, would you allow that? If you're sellers. And then someone said to me, oh, well, if you're sellers. But, you know, on the other hand, if I was a salesperson, I'd say, hold on, Mr. Seller, you're going to be moving in 6 to whatever weeks. Yes, it's minimum 6 weeks. So why don't you just move out now? What is more important for you? That no one has left a little bit of germs, or the fact that it's sold and you now can get on with your life onto the next part of your life? Really?
There's other things too. It's something that just popped into my head. I get occasionally resistance from people who don't want open homes when you're selling their property. And if it's proven over the next 6 to 12 months that you don't need them to sell a property,
Everything's by appointment.
there will be that, see, I told you so, and people are going to be reluctant to hand back the privacy that they've been given by the...
Nice.
I think there's other measures that we can take, like, you know, booties and sanitisers, put into a cleaning cost after every open, having cleaners come through after every open.
Yeah, there's heaps of stuff.
So there's a lot of things that we can do in through the open homes.
We've already had some of our officers say no more open homes. Okay. So, I had a classic example. When I go in and sell a marketing package, I sell the virtues of having a sign out the front, a photo signboard. And
absolutely.
A month ago we had a listing where the guys were adamant that they weren't going to have a sign, and I was adamant that they were going to have a sign, and I won that little battle and got a sign out the front. But then 2 days later I sold a house over their back fence that didn't have a sign out the front. So straight away he said, you told me I needed a sign.
To get the highest price.
Yeah.
To get the highest price.
To get the highest.
So they sold, but they didn't get the highest price.
But that's the thing that's going to happen when they actually got a bloody good price.
I knew they were gonna
but that's the same thing's going to happen if we say we're not going to do open homes anymore and houses keep selling. People are going to say, well, you know what? It's been fine for 12 months. Let's just and you'll get more. So the unintended consequences, or whether that's a consequence or not, but I think I see that being part of the new world we're moving into as far as what we do for a living.
I think we'll see new factors coming in. I think this will be a disruption, and we'll go back to the norm. Eventually, we will go back to the norm.
There's no going back, mate. The world's changed.
No, I think there is.
Where are we going to go back to?
No, I mean, there's as far as real estate, open homes and meeting face to face and so forth. I think we are going to have a disruption, and people are going to be more mindful of things in the forward.
Right.
But I do think we will go back to the norm. We will go back to what's comfortable in 12 months, 18 months, whatever it may be. There will be new things, new items that we may be using, DocuSign and whatever else, teleconferencing, training.
More videos to present the property.
Right.
Absolutely.
I think, but and Thomas said before, and you're probably the same, I would not buy a property if I couldn't touchy-feely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that high touch is here, and high touch will never go. No matter what.
Our human makeup.
By
definition, we're not going back to the norm, because if new technologies are developed that help us be more efficient during this period, then we're not going to discard that as soon as this period's over. So
even door knocking, boys, what's happening now? I mean, what's happening? Your people door knocking. Do they stay 2 meters away from the door? What's happening?
We said that to the guys. We said, staying back a little bit from the door. If you don't feel comfortable door knocking, don't want you hitting the phones. And if you are going to door knock, be smart about it and so forth. People may not answer, and I know Cam's mentioned it before. You've had people cancelling listing appointments.
We've had a few appointments. Well, yeah, but that's not because of spread of disease. That's because of loss of like we had someone who works on cruise ships who can now no
Right,
longer
right.
do anything. We've had some retirees who the stock market's destroyed their super, so
that's
can't do.
But we've had people saying, "Do not come. We're scared of the corona." I've straight out had that.
Yeah,
objection.
I've had a staff member abused on a door because what are you doing door knocking? You're just going to be spreading the disease. Like, so we spoke about it. We're still going to do some, but we're not going to do as much until the fucking hysteria dies down, because it's what it is. And when they work out the person walking the street to say hello isn't trying to kill you.
Yeah.
I think. But everyone's home, so phones are working beautifully, bro. No, I'm serious.
That's what we're
like.
doing.
I've got two offices where the phones don't work because no one is home.
And even pulling up here today in the car park, I've never seen the car park that bloody empty.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's 4 cars in the entire car park at the front. And I coming here today, and you said the same thing. The road was, I went the M7, you come down the M4. M1, sorry. And it was empty, right? A 45-minute trip for you, which is usually an hour and a half, right?
Yeah, no. It took about 20 minutes off.
So, and my trip was good too. So the car parks, the roads are empty, so people are obviously staying home. So it's a great time to be ringing. It's a great time to be creating contacts. You don't need to be talking to them now. You don't need to be going out and seeing them now. You just need to be talking to people and creating the start of those relationships with them.
Yeah, but instead of maybe asking them whether they just want to sell, it's also ask them, are they okay?
Do you need some
Do they
toilet
need
paper?
help?
Yeah.
Do they need some assistance with certain things, I think that we're going to have to go that extra step. So in that respect, maybe high touch is going to be better. I mean, we talk about no touch policy, but maybe we're going to touch them in a different way, right?
Maybe we need Wisebury toilet paper.
Oh.
We've got Wisebury umbrellas. We've got Wisebury soap.
We've ordered them,
Wisebury
but they stuck somewhere in China. It's coming.
Better be 3-ply, mate. I'll only deal in 3-ply.
My son made a joke the other night. There's those shows, Extreme Cheapskates.
No.
There's a show, Extreme Cheapskates. So you get a roll of 2-ply toilet paper, and you can make 2 rolls. So 2 single roll plies of toilet paper.
Yeah, maybe not when I'm having my cheese.
I think
big teams are going to be separated in small teams, boys.
I understand one of our offices have gone into pods, little pods working from home
because
as well.
because if a mini team is exposed or been affected,
doesn't affect
you don't have to shut down your entire
Yeah.
show. I think that some of those things are pretty smart to look at doing.
Someone said to me yesterday, I don't think you should be going into the office. You should be separate from your staff, because if you go down, which is something I hadn't given. I'm already in enough trouble, so coronavirus can come at me.
You know what, Keem? I think if you go down, and the technology is that good, the phones and teleconferences and stuff, you can still be talking to your staff and running things. And
but it's just an interesting. But
it's a concept you've got to think about, because
it's that mentality where the politics, where they keep the president, they never have everyone in, or massive companies never have everyone on the same plane or the same room at the same time in case of emergency. I think one thing in our thing that I know I'm got a little bit of an issue with at the moment is helping your staff not believe in the bloody hysteria. That's a massive thing too, like.
Listen, mate, you will always have them. You'll always have the fucking prima donnas and the fucking users of the system to try and have a day off, mate. You won't stop that shit.
Yeah, and
that's I reckon it's a great opportunity to find out who is who and what is what, man. So don't tell them that fucking trick, because when you find that out, you at least can make a note and go, I get you. I know exactly where you are, and I know how to handle you, you little prick. I think that
it's a thing for all businesses, not just our business. Who was telling me? I can't remember.
Oh, mate, stop doing shit like this, man, because I've
had a mind blank, but someone told me that there was 70% of their workers had called in sick as soon as that.
Yeah,
it
well,
started,
maybe that's 17.
And it wasn't real estate. Bloody useless story because I can't remember. But
Parliament.
No.
No, stop. Parliament's working very, very hard, all right? These guys to come up with whatever they come up with, even though some of the shit that they've come up with is useless, they still working pretty hard. But in our little business, boys, the no desk sharing will have to be there in terms of policy.
Yep.
So if I'm working at my desk, there's no way that you can come and work at my desk. So those kind of things, I think. Also, workstations will have to be stationed a little bit further apart from each other so that people I think these are the things that maybe leaders have to do, to make sure that our staff's comfortable. And I think that those change will never come back, right? Once you've given people a little bit of that social distancing, I don't think it'll ever come back. You'll see the way of the future. You'll see desk being way bigger. You will see the end of 1.2 meter desk or 900 desk station. All that's going to be the way of the past. I think there's going to be more people working from home, especially if the government now put the stop to children being at school. There's going to be a lot of people who have to be at home to look after their children.
Yep.
Now you're going to see real disruption in the business world.
They reckon that children at school is the safest place for them. That's the news that we're getting.
Yeah, but peer pressure,
they're full of shit, mate. You really think so?
Well, the logic on that makes sense to me. The lowest transmission rates and the lowest showing of symptoms are children. If they're all at home, I know, like us for one, would be leaning on grandparents to try and look after them for some of the time, which puts the elderly at risk. And I heard a stat that said at least 30% of the health working force would have to be at home to look after their kids, which we talked about before. If the doctors and nurses go down, we're in a world of shit. So, I mean, whether that's bullshit or not, that makes logical sense to me.
I think it's only an economical reason.
What's the economical reason?
The economic reason is that if the children are home, there will be a lot of mothers who will feel so bad being at work that she or they will have to be off.
Yep.
And if they are off, that means that your business is now not working at 100%. And now everything's going to be affected. Meaning to say to me, hey, listen, children still get it, okay? And children can still pass it, all right? Let's not talk about the stealth form of the virus now, where 86% of people are actually carrier but don't even show a symptom, right? So what's stopping the child from passing to another child at school to another one, and then that one goes home and hug the grandparents at the end of the day? What's stopping that? So, mate, no, I'm sorry, man. Keeping them at school is not necessarily going to slow it down. So I think it's going to really be an economic reason. I think that the Prime Minister is pretty right in trying to make sure that the economy is still going. Otherwise, they'll have to stop everything. Stop mortgages, stop rent, stop electricity bills and gas bill. Because, mate, if you cut all of those essentials to people, they're going to have to start robbing others. They're going to start killing each other. They're going to start doing all of this shit. So you can't really go to that level. And I think so one of the cheap way of doing it is the kids at school. Because remember, they're not trying to get rid of the virus. They're just trying to slow it down. Because if you slow it down, you can control the number of hospital beds. Yeah. Plus, how many ventilators do they have in Australia?
I don't know.
So, man, you wouldn't want to have all of those people sick at the same time.
There was a car factory that I'm pretty sure it was a car factory that was going pretty rough anyway, and they said, well, just start making ventilators. And they could punch out something like 100,000 ventilators in a month. And they said, just make them, because I'm sure it was in the UK. They said, UK, we only need 500,000, but the rest of the world needs them. So they're automatically looking for those ulterior sort of production lines. I think we're also not looking at a lot of other things that are caught up in this. A lot of events, people bringing over like from overseas and are being cancelled. So again, tourism hugely being affected, hotels clubs being affected. We had an event for a bonsai event coming up in May. We started getting cancellations a week ago. We've had 2 of our vendors cancel and 8 registrants cancel, and now we've got this no more gathering than 100 people. So we're going to have to cancel the event. First time in the history of the Australian Association of Bonsai Clubs, we have to cancel an event. It looks like it's not going to go.
Times are tough when the bonsais are getting affected, mate.
It is. But what I'm saying is, there are a lot of events out there, like the home show. The home show that's going to be have to be.
Chris
cancelled.
and I were set for the biggest bucket list year of concerts in rugby league history. We had Green Day tickets, Offspring tickets, David Gray tickets, Bush and Live, all the bands that I grew up with on the 90s, I was going to be able to see all of them, Metallica, all of them this year, except for Guns N' Roses.
Mm-hmm.
And so far, everything except Green Day is cancelled. And that's not a thing on me. I mean, I'm spewing, but the amount of money lost in those, and they're all saying postpone it and hang on to your ticket. I'm not hanging on to my ticket for 2 years. I'm sorry. The way my liver's going, I need to go this year. But yeah, it's all those little things. It's the things that people aren't thinking of, and we did touch on it before. The travel agents, the flight attendants, the concert promoters,
taxi drivers.
It's just, mate, the footy. I actually had a moment of sadness when we were at the footy game last week because a lady pouring me my beer wasn't going to have a job in 2 days. Like, you just knew, because that was the last game or the last weekend before they cancelled all the crowds. Like, all these people that are bringing you food and bringing you drinks, gone.
Wow.
And it's and the hospitality industry is a lot of people, bro.
Yeah,
like a lot of people.
So, Rita works at. She's with your core group in Sydney Olympic Park. 3 hotels, 3 huge hotels, are like. One's at 6% occupancy, another one at 8%. I mean, we're talking 225 rooms with 8% occupancy. Mm. So they're looking at shutting 2 of the hotels down completely and possibly putting it in 1 hotel. Mm. But they don't know how to move this forward because they've never had to do it before. Mm. And again, a lot of people, holiday leave, sick pay, whatever it is they have to take. So
I think Qantas, I heard on the radio on the way down there, Qantas have just suspended 60% of their staff on unpaid leave.
That's wrong. That's wrong.
For a company as big as,
See, and this is what I believe that government has got to move way faster. I think that this is going to be way more than just a direct health crisis. When I mean direct health crisis, it means you get the coronavirus, you're sick. That's, to me, a direct impact.
It's the smallest part of it. It's nearly the smallest part of the whole thing.
Well, not if you're 80, bro. No. Not if you're less than 10, all right? No. That's probably the biggest one that you have in life. So... But I think that still, for every one of us, there is an indirect health impact to this crisis. And, for example, yesterday in America, the Treasury chief is warned that unemployment will hit 20% if the government is not acting fast enough. All right? Do you know that the Great Depression unemployment rate was 25? So can you fucking imagine 20? Like, people are going to be robbing people at traffic lights. In order not because they're bad people, because they have to buy medication to help the young kids because they have no money because they've been unemployed for too long.
We've just seen what people do when they thought they couldn't wipe their ass. What's going to happen when they can't feed their kids?
And so I think that the waiting game, we're going to have to be very careful. To me, the more we wait, the more we're going to kill the economy, for sure. And I heard a very good line this morning, and it was this. Someone said, yeah, but hold on. You can't really ask the government to go out there and pay and inject things. Yes, the people like me who has fucking overpaid my tax and my company tax, and I have tax that I had to pay for the year after and all this shit. Yes, you better look after me. Because the cost of not looking after the population is way bigger. And I heard this line, and it said this. If your house is on fire, you can't think about the price of water. You just freaking use the water and put the house, keep the house safe, right? So let's not even sit here now and talk about, right, how much would it cost really to do all this shit. Just make sure that this, we're not asking you to give it to us as a population. Just freaking get a loan. We'll repay it. Right? But think about all this. How different will our people be for their staff if we knew we have that net and that when the medication's out, we'll repay everything by making profit. But right now, instead of that, what are most of these people thinking? Who do I get rid of? What do I cut off? Correct?
What spending do
Come
we
on,
stop?
this is real limbic shit. Yeah. This is very primary thinking.
Yeah, right.
This is toilet paper stealing or taking off the shelf so that I can make a buck. I'm sorry. That's how it should be. And so I ought to advise that the government comes to Burbank Place and sit down with the 3 of us and find out the other ideas that we have to help the government out of this crisis.
Their
Correct.
wine can be over $50 too. They better be bringing some Hermitage to the table, bro.
But at the moment, only Thomas and I will be drinking it because you're on water, mate. So.
I feel for real estate. What about house price? What about demand, boys?
I don't know. I heard, and this is, you might be able to help me out, this quantitative easing thing, if they do that and they drop interest rates to zero, I heard that it created a housing bubble was it America where it was done?
Yeah.
So prices went stupid again.
But they also had the bank. They also had the banks doing stupid credits and credits upon
all
credit
right.
loans
So
and
what
stuff,
we're now assuming that our banks have got ethics all of a sudden and won't be doing that. No, I'm 100% serious, mate. They will lend money. They're going to lend money right up until they get coronavirus, mate. So I don't. Maybe someone with a bit more knowledge can help me understand.
So last weekend, did you see a drop in the numbers to our opens at all? Or were you the same, or what did you find?
It's hard to tell whether it was a corona drop or not. All the properties we had were in their second week on the market, so there was a bit of a decline. But I mean, one house definitely. We'd had 26 groups a week before and 8 on the weekend.
Right.
But inquiry hasn't necessarily slowed. We've had a couple of buyers. Or one buyer in particular that was ready to buy a house decided not because his wife looks like losing her work over this stuff.
Yeah.
But with we had 4 cancellations, like I said, for people for different reasons that can't put their houses on the market now. But we've had 5 people ring up getting divorced that have to put their houses on the market.
Divorce did not just happen in the last 2 months.
No,
bro.
I'm not saying it did.
Yeah,
but everything's sort of level, like it's
still
the same amount of stock.
You can't
There's
give
the
us
same
an
amount
answer.
of stock.
So on the weekend, it was hard for us too. On the weekend, it was really crappy weather. It was crappy weather on Saturday. It was cold and windy and rainy.
Yeah.
And the numbers were down considerably compared to the week before. But was that because of the news or was that because of the weather? We don't know. We'll find out this weekend. We've got the same amount of opens booked and so forth. But we've got offers coming in on properties. We've got people calling up for inspections, wanting to buy still. So we're getting listings in as well. So the market's still turning. So are we not seeing the change yet, or is there going to be?
What changes are going to be? People still want to buy. People still want to sell or need to sell. And for every person that's freaking out, there's another one who sees an opportunity. Like if there's only one house on the market and you're thinking of selling, bloody good time to sell. So there'll be someone who says, "Oh shit, I'm not going. I'm going to wait until coronavirus is over to see what's going on." And there's another person who says, "I'm going to get on now while there's no other bloody houses on the market." Because probably, I mean, is it fair to say that once all this shit dies down or we pass it, there'll be 4,632,843 houses on the market? Because anyone who'd been holding off for that 12 months is going to go, shit, let's go. So I guess there's an easy conversation to have with people about why now is still a good time to sell.
That's the sort of training I did with the team sort of Monday. First thing Monday we come in and we had some training on as soon as we heard about the corona, say, listen, floods, fire or famine, people are buying and selling. People still need to live somewhere. So get out there. Don't listen to the hype of things. Don't get caught up in the hype. Get out there and do your job. That's the sort of training we had on Monday with the team. But will that stop these idiots from holding off? Will it the masses?
No, when it comes to idiots, nothing will stop them.
There you go.
Okay, but so what you have to do is to find sellers who are sensible, who understand that maybe if I just let my house go at a discount now, I can get on with my life because I have a next part of my dream to go to. Then it will take a sensible buyer to say, do you know what, 6 months, if I believe Cam, 12 months, if I believe Thomas, things will just go back to normal. Yep. So what do? Do I wait and miss out on the place where my energy really clicks with the property? Right, especially when it's gone down now today, another 0.25% in interest rates, or do I just buy a house where I'm going to put all my loved ones under the roof and think with my wallet?
Yeah,
you know. So I think this is why it's time now for salespeople to hunt for sensible customers and clients.
Yeah,
it's time for I was about to say time for sales agents to earn their money, but this is again another situation where the good agents are going to shine through because mediocre agents just got a brief reprieve from what was a market downturn into a mini boom again, and all they had to do was stand at the front door and field offers, didn't have to do any work, and they thought, oh shit, and now they're back where they are going to have to find sensible buyers and sensible sellers and actually have the right conversations and do the right thing by people. And a lot of them, those same people who are running around at 1.5% because that's all they can do and don't have the skills to back it up, are in the shit again because it's going to take skill to put deals together in this market.
So is it then your thoughts that if you've got a team going on at the moment, is to push forward, ignore what's happening around you at the moment, train hard and push forward with them?
Yeah, you not ignore, but you don't have to participate to the frenzy that is happening out there. Yep. So yes, there will be maybe a few houses that are going to be scared of getting on the market. Yes, there will be a few buys that will be waiting for the virus to finish its job, but those ones we don't have to worry. So I think the skill of the salesperson is going to be able to qualify who is going to work with and who is going to take in, because there will always be buys. Right now, the interest rate is cheap. Money is the cheapest it's ever been, all right? And this is a time where you're going to see a lot of people making money. Mate, those guys selling toilets on eBay, they fucking wankers, those guys, all right? So, but they are at least opportunists. There's going to be guys who are now going to start trucking companies in terms of delivery, and they're going to make a mozza because they're going to take advantage of this. But that is an opportunity that they're trying to get. Right now, there are going to be guys who are sitting there thinking of how do I make money out of people's misery? And I think that karma is going to get them. But really, deep down, people who are sensible need to really sit down now and go, right now, there are still people who want to get on with their life. There are people who want to get on with their dreams, that they are going to move on to another stage, and it's not going to be a virus that's going to stop them. So we need to learn to qualify better.
Yeah.
I think I think we've got an opportunity. I think I said to you before, Chris, we've got an opportunity now to develop our skills in other areas. If everyone's home, what are they doing all day?
That's a good idea, man. Yeah, actually.
They're watching social media, so we're doing more videos than ever. We've got an opportunity now, while if people are sitting back, to be more present than we've ever been before, because they've got nothing else to do, so they will be seeing us. More letterbox drops, more social media, more videos. Yeah. So when the tide does turn again, we're front of mind. As far as your new team goes, I know there's some fear around shit. We've just pick a number 5 new people on. You've got the opportunity now to train like you've never fucking trained before. So not only are you being more present than ever before, you're training like never before. So when this tide turns, you've got 5 new people who are trained to a skill level that they wouldn't have had otherwise, because if you still had 100 listings, you'd be busy managing all that stuff. They probably wouldn't get the same training they got now. Yep. Be able to get now. There's if we get into the right mindset and don't let fear get a hold of us and participate in the frenzy. Yes, be aware of it, but yes, all right, guys, we're not going to door knock today, but we'll do 12 videos that we can leak out over social media over the next 2 weeks, and we'll design 40 different types of DLs so we can just be out. And
letterbox
what I'm hoping is, while people are at home and while people are going through their own stress and anxiety over this, Wisebury Carring and Wisebury Barrera is popping up in their letterbox or on their Facebook timeline at some point every week or every couple of weeks. So when they do take a deep breath and go, the world didn't come to an end, I better call Wisebury.
Yeah.
That's the opportunity we have. And like don't get me wrong, mate, the thought has crossed my mind. I've got a guy going to the recruit course next week, and I'm like, timing. But on the other hand, fucking brilliant timing, because I can spend time, we can train. I think Thomas has a line. I think if you're not, the only 2 things you should be doing is training or prospecting. It was, in an office, there's no dead time. You're either training or you're trying to find new business. Yep. I might have paraphrased and misquoted you, but it's something along those. We've got a perfect opportunity to do that now.
It's true.
Perfect. So it's not glass half full, it's not glass half empty, but let's hope that all the doomsdays are wrong. Not be sitting there going, fucking told you so.
Yeah, but doomsday are probably unemployed idiots, mate. And now they've got plenty of time to come up with all that shit. Do you know, I've received last week a message that says that an Italian doctor has come up with some stuff, and And then I've received it since, like, from a few friends, the same thing. Things like, drink hot water, or if you hold your breath for 10 seconds and you don't have, mate, all bullshit. But when people are anxious, they want to cling on to this shit. And those guys that running myths, they start with something that really happened with a doctor in Italy, right? And afterwards they write all the bullshit, and you have guys saying, "Oh man, this is amazing shit," and all that. And it's like, shit, you've been trolled, you idiot. It's not because it started with something real that the whole body is real. You know?
Clickbait.
You know, it's not because the face of that girl in the water is beautiful that she's a woman. For all you know, it could be a siren. She could be fish underneath. How do you know? And then I think that people are going to have to start exerting a little bit of that common sense, because you have guys that are running around believing everything, my every purpose, then they're coming up with like, let's make some shit today and let's put like double hand sanitizer and then you're now going to do this. Yeah. Sit down. Your leader.
Breathe.
Look at things the way they are, not worse than they are, not better than they are. Yes, property managers are going to now have to change the entire way of working. Property managers may stop doing so many inspections. Property managers now may start wearing gloves when they're doing final routine inspections. Property managers may have to now wear gloves every time they do a freaking inspection. All these shit are real. But that's reality. That's not looking at worse. And then as a leader, you go, all right, how do I make it better? All right, from the gloves here, is the glove the only thing that I can really use to make my property manager safer? Or can I do something else? That's how leaders behave, right? Leaders don't jump on the bandwagon and fucking like, and you know what's nice about that message? At the end of every one of those fucking bullshit messages, it's, please share it with other loved ones. Mate, that's how you freaking spread a virus.
Can everyone listening to this jump on Messenger now and bombard Thomas with some spam articles about you just to fuck with him?
No, there's one thing I've learned. Like, I've received this from my in-laws quite a long time ago. They used to send me shit, you know. But before I used to say shit, I do some research. I go and find out who actually wrote the article, and then from that on, I go even further, and then I have a look at how many people are writing about that article. Mate, that's how you do it. Like, how the hell does one person come up with the truth and the whole world of journalists missed out?
Who was the first person to run out of a supermarket with 10 packets of toilet paper that the whole world is now going, like, that started with one person? Fucking moronic.
No, he won. He won, though. He won.
His neighbour's going, oh, shit, he's getting toilet paper.
Someone told me, though, the guy who runs Quilton come through and said, guys, we have a pallet of toilet paper for every Australian person. In our warehouse, we have a pallet of toilet paper. So we're not going to run out.
They got the 3-ply shit too, mate.
Yeah, well,
that's like
well,
silk.
Listen, mate. Then he should have done something about that elderly lady who ran into, I think, 9 shops and was crying because all she wanted was just one.
Yeah.
And so for some reason, that manager of that shop she went into had some in the bag. Bullshit for some reason. Anyway, but for that reason, he got it, right? So what about that person? So the Quilton, whatever it is, right? Instead of saying shit like this, make sure that our elderly don't have to ask for that. You imagine? I mean, I went to a function last week. Mate, at the end of the function, I said to the table, when was the last time you talk about toilet paper at a luncheon? You know, because I find it weird. We're talking about toilet paper in the middle of our meals. And I find it fucking repulsive to have elderly who have paid their dues with their life, who have paid taxes.
Yep.
And now we asking them to fucking queue at 7 in the morning, and it's getting cold, man. It's not summer anymore, right? Sure. 20 centimeters from each other when we're telling everyone, stay away from each other for 2 meters, right?
Yeah.
And then when we open the freaking door, the shelf's empty.
Crazy.
Come on.
The whole world's gone mad, bro.
No.
We're going back into, we're back to the start.
The world is not mad. The problem is humanity is made in such a way that anxiety drives shit And if you do good reporting and good news, you may get the best of your humanity. Right? That's what it is. And so everyone's responsible, not just these guys who are going crazy.
Who's going to take that first jump, though? Because the first person to start spreading positive news or real news is taking a massive risk when everyone else is talking shit.
They won't get the headlines. And that's the unfortunate thing.
It's actually, we'll get the headline. If we tell everyone now we got the solution to coronavirus, you will see how fast it'll spread.
It comes in a bottle. It's usually
It's
red.
Edenvale alcohol. What is it? Remove.
Shit, that'll
How
strip.
good was that?
That's good to strip your paint off your walls, I reckon.
It was good stuff,
Oh, shit.
mate.
That was the worst $6 you ever spent in your
I'll tell you
fucking
what,
life.
there'll be no
$6
shortage
plate.
of that on the shelves.
Hey, mate, there wasn't chockers. There was none in the fridge though. Funnily enough,
Because it takes up too much room.
there was like 18 different types of alcohol-free wine.
I'm glad you know that.
There was. I got stuff for choice. I'm like, surely not. All I need is my head to stop hurting. As soon as my head stops hurting,
Seems a bit better.
it's back to wine and wisdom.
Now, coming back to reality, and maybe it's time to probably close, is that if things are the way that it's going and we have to believe in everything that they say, I'm not going to be negative now, but say that we will have a bit of unhappiness in our life over the next few months.
Yep.
We will all know someone who lost someone. Just last week, I knew of someone in Belgium. And hopefully it's not going to be close to home. I was talking to our friend Rod yesterday, and I said, Rod, I hope you understand the gravity of this shit for Bobby Joe. That there are things that you're going to have to do that you've never done before. That's going to be way, way more than just washing your hands, man. Because this kid 2 weeks ago was with collapsed lungs in a theater, right? And this is a respiratory virus. And so these stuff is going to be heavy.
Absolutely.
So we're going to go through, I think, some of these hardship. Maybe this is not the Third World War, but it's definitely going to be the Third World War for us. The enemy may not be another human. The enemy may be just someone in your family who just brought the enemy that was hidden inside. And so I think it's a time really to take some of this shit seriously. I think, I keep on saying it, this crisis is not just health. We understand the health, but it's also an economic crisis, which in turn will indirectly impact on the health of people who are going to have mental depressions and mental issues. The new norm is here. We're going to have to put up with this new norm.
I think in saying that, wise words, mate. I think we need to go against what these crazies are doing and as you said, worry about each other, worry about the elderly, call your mates, and if you know someone who's having a hard time, just have a phone call. I think Cam brought up before about the farmers through hard times, that suicide rates go up for men and so forth, and it doesn't eliminate women either. I think we need to be more mindful of each other, reach out to each other more often, and that's the wonderful thing about technology, is that we're very in touch with each other with a simple few clicks of a button.
Yeah.
It's spread love, not fear. And
Mate, spot on, eh? Yeah.
Try and get 1 + 1 to equal 2,
Yeah,
not 120.
perfect, Cam. That's
Let's
fucking
go.
good. Spreading love, not fear, mate. Absolutely. Awesome.
Well, listen, boys, thank you very much for today.
Cheers, man.
Love
All
you,
right,
boys.
let's share it. I hope the Prime Minister knows now that we have the solution. He just has to call us. We are waiting for him at Solid Circuit.
1-800 Wiseberry.
Thanks, boys.
Thanks, mate.
Talk to you soon.